At 5:38 a.m., the first commuter train into downtown Boston ground to a halt. Snow had been falling steadily for hours, but what looked manageable before dawn quickly turned into whiteout chaos. Wind gusts whipped across platforms, visibility dropped to near zero, and crews struggled to keep switches clear as drifts piled up along the tracks. By sunrise, the Northeast Corridor was under siege. Winter Storm Gale, a rapidly intensifying nor'easter, slammed into the mid-Atlantic overnight and barreled north toward New England, bringing blinding snow, fierce winds, and coastal flooding to two of the region's most historic cities, Boston and Philadelphia. This is not just another snow day. This is a storm built for disruption. Meteorologists had warned that this system had the ingredients to explode in intensity. As it tracked along the coast, its central pressure dropped rapidly, a hallmark of what forecasters sometimes call a bomb cyclone. That rapid intensification tightened the pressure gradient, fueling stronger winds and heavier precipitation. Forecasters with the National Weather Service issued blizzard warnings across eastern Massachusetts and winter storm warnings throughout southeastern Pennsylvania. By midnight, snow bands were already sweeping into Philadelphia. By 3 a.m., Gale's outer edges were hammering coastal Massachusetts, and by dawn, both cities were fully engulfed. In Philadelphia, snow began as a steady accumulation late in the evening, coating streets and rooftops in a thin white layer. But after midnight, the character of the storm changed. Snowfall rates intensified to nearly 2 inches per hour in some neighborhoods. Gusts exceeding 40 miles per hour sent powder swirling between buildings, reducing visibility along major corridors like Broad Street and the Schuylkill Expressway. Overnight plow crews worked continuously, but heavy bursts outpaced removal efforts. By early morning, secondary roads were buried. Intersections became choke points as vehicles struggled to gain traction.
I'm taking the stairs.
Philadelphia International Airport reported cascading delays and cancellations as runways required repeated clearing. De-icing lines stretched longer by the hour. Airline officials warned that disruptions in Philadelphia would ripple through connecting hubs across the country. Emergency responders reported a surge in weather-related crashes along I-95 and the Pennsylvania Turnpike. Even with pre-treatment and brine applications, drifting snow quickly refroze in exposed areas. By mid-morning, snow totals in parts of the city had already surpassed 8 inches, with hours of heavy snow still to come. If Philadelphia faced intensity, Boston faced ferocity. As Gale tracked northeast, it strengthened further offshore. The counterclockwise circulation pulled Atlantic moisture inland while Arctic air wrapped around its western flank. The result? True blizzard conditions. In Boston, gusts exceeded 60 miles per hour along exposed coastal areas. Snow fell horizontally, plastering windows and rattling buildings. The iconic brownstones of Beacon Hill disappeared behind curtains of blowing white. Logan International Airport suspended most departures as crews battled both heavy snowfall and wind-driven drifts. Aircraft attempting to taxi were forced back to gates as visibility dropped below operational minimums. The Massachusetts Bay Transportation Authority curtailed certain rail services, citing dangerous track conditions. Commuter trains slowed to reduced speeds, while bus routes faced detours or temporary suspensions. On the city's waterfront, waves pounded seawalls as storm surge coincided with high tide. Officials monitored for minor coastal flooding in low-lying neighborhoods. Boston is no stranger to winter storms, but this one arrived with a combination of speed, wind, and coastal impact that raised alarms. Winter Storm Gale formed as a classic nor'easter, drawing energy from the temperature contrast between relatively warm Atlantic waters and a surge of Arctic air plunging southward. As the storm's central pressure dropped rapidly overnight, wind speeds accelerated.
That intensification allowed snowbands to organize into tight, powerful corridors capable of dumping large amounts of snow in short bursts. These mesoscale bands can stall over a city, delivering snowfall at extreme rates. In Philadelphia, one such band parked over the metro area for nearly 2 hours. In eastern Massachusetts, similar banding produced near whiteout conditions before sunrise. Unlike broad, steady snow events, banded storms create uneven totals. One neighborhood may receive 6 inches, while another sees 12 or more. And when wind speeds exceed 35 miles per hour alongside falling snow, official blizzard criteria can be met, even if snowfall totals are not historic.
Across both cities, transportation networks felt immediate strain. In Philadelphia, tractor-trailers struggled along icy ramps. Some vehicles became stranded after attempting to navigate untreated side streets. Emergency management officials urged residents to remain home unless travel was absolutely necessary. In Boston, snowdrifts formed rapidly along north-south oriented streets as winds funneled between buildings. Parking bans were implemented in multiple neighborhoods to allow plows full access to roadways. Rideshare services suspended operations in some zones due to unsafe conditions. Delivery trucks delayed routes. Construction sites shut down entirely. The economic toll of even a single day of halted activity in 2 major metropolitan areas can climb into tens of millions of dollars. Though snow alone rarely causes widespread outages, Gale's powerful winds added another layer of risk. Utility companies reported scattered outages across southeastern Pennsylvania and eastern Massachusetts as wind-driven branches snapped and struck lines. In coastal Massachusetts, crews responded to downed wires amid near-blizzard conditions. Officials warned that as snow accumulates on tree limbs, the additional weight combined with gusty winds increases the risk of falling debris. Emergency management agencies activated warming shelters as a precaution, particularly in areas prone to localized outages. The greater concern, however, may be what happens after the storm. As temperatures drop overnight, melting snow can refreeze into block ice, complicating cleanup efforts and prolonging hazards on untreated surfaces. City officials in both Boston and Philadelphia announced closures for public schools. Universities shifted to remote operations. Federal and municipal offices operated on reduced schedules. Hospitals remained open but urged patients to reschedule non-emergency appointments. Grocery stores saw pre-storm surges as residents stocked up on essentials. In both states, governors declared weather emergencies in select counties to expedite resource deployment and streamline coordination between state and local agencies. In Boston, Gale's timing with astronomical high tide amplified concerns about minor to moderate coastal flooding. The onshore wind direction pushed water toward the coastline, elevating tidal levels. While widespread flooding was not immediately reported, officials monitored vulnerable areas closely. Residents in flood-prone neighborhoods were advised to move vehicles to higher ground and avoid walking near seawalls during peak surge periods. Storm surge, even at modest levels, can erode infrastructure and damage coastal properties when combined with wave action. Because Boston and Philadelphia serve as major air travel hubs, the storm's impact extended far beyond the Northeast. Flights connecting through Logan and Philadelphia International experienced cascading delays nationwide. Aircraft and crew displacement complicated recovery efforts. Airlines cautioned that even after snowfall tapers, operational recovery can take a full day or more as fleets and staff reposition. For travelers, that means missed connections, extended layovers, and uncertain departure times, sometimes long after skies begin to clear.
Everything comes exactly how it would come from any major boutique in the world. The only difference is you're saving money.
Beyond infrastructure and economics lies the quieter reality of a winter storm's impact. It is the nurse navigating unplowed streets for an overnight shift, the restaurant owner watching reservations disappear, the elderly resident listening to wind rattle windows, hoping the power holds. Emergency responders noted an uptick in slip and fall injuries as residents attempted to shovel early accumulations before snowfall ceased. Heavy, wind-packed snow can strain backs and shoulders, particularly when lifted improperly. Officials repeatedly emphasized pacing, hydration, and avoiding overexertion during cleanup. Forecast models indicate that gale will gradually pull away from the coastline later tonight, though wraparound snow showers may linger into tomorrow morning. Total accumulations are expected to exceed a foot in parts of eastern Massachusetts, with somewhat lower but still significant totals across southeastern Pennsylvania. Winds are forecast to gradually diminish, but cold air will remain entrenched, increasing the likelihood of refreezing overnight. Plow crews in both cities are expected to operate around the clock to clear primary roads before shifting focus to residential neighborhoods. Winter storms test resilience in different ways than hurricanes or heat waves. They demand coordination between transit authorities, utility companies, public safety officials, and community members. They reveal the importance of preparation, from salted roads to stocked pantries. Boston and Philadelphia have endured countless winter storms over centuries, yet each new system presents unique challenges based on timing, intensity, and infrastructure readiness. Storm gales, rapid intensification, and powerful winds serve as reminders that even well-prepared cities are vulnerable when conditions align. While meteorologists caution against attributing any single storm to long-term climate shifts, many note that strong temperature contrasts between Arctic air and warming ocean waters can fuel powerful coastal systems. Urban planners and emergency managers are increasingly examining how to adapt infrastructure for more frequent, high-impact events. From improved coastal defenses to more resilient power grids, decisions made in the aftermath of storms like Gale will shape how cities withstand future extremes. As snow continues to fall and winds gust across the Northeast, officials urge patience and caution. Stay off roads unless necessary. Allow plows and emergency vehicles room to operate. Dress in layers when shoveling. Check on neighbors who may need assistance. The chaos of winter storm Gale will eventually subside. Skies will clear, snowbanks will shrink, flights will resume. But for today, Boston and Philadelphia remain in the grip of the storm, a vivid reminder that winter, when fueled by wind and water, can still command even the most resilient cities. And as recovery begins, one lesson echoes clearly: preparation matters, coordination matters, community matters. Because when a storm like Gale strikes, it's not just weather, it's a test of how a city holds together under pressure.